feel like this is going to be an interesting question that I get a lot from my other Elta MD video, which will already be up by now. So I'm just gonna do a video on these two sunscreens, which are the Elta MD Elements sunscreens. We have the old version, which is the Elta MD Elements. And then we have the new version, which is the Elta MD AOX Elements. All right, so let's get into it. If you are not already subscribed, if you haven't liked this video, come on, do the things. Why are you waiting? And we'll get into it right now. Okay, all right, without a lot of jibber jabber, we're going to jump right in. I'm gonna be applying it to my face. This is me in the future. I've already applied it to my face, but I'm going to insert the footage now of me applying it. And I'm going to talk through all the specs. And then afterward, like I always do, I'm going to talk about my thoughts and what I feel about them and all those good things. So let's go. All right, we are starting with the old version of Elta MD UV Elements. The sunscreen retails for approximately $43, and it has an SPF of 44. So a little different than the new one. We'll get into that in a little bit. So this is a 100% physical, or otherwise known as mineral sunscreen, and it has a tint and a moisturizing base, they say. It's supposed to be gentle enough for even the most sensitive skin, and like all the other Elta MD sunscreens, it is supposed to be for post-procedure skin, not just for that, but like they kind of, you know, they put that as probably one of their main selling points, especially when they sell it at a derm's office. They also say chemical-free added actives, which, I mean, let's not get into that right now. We have 10% zinc oxide and 5.5% titanium dioxide. In terms of the finish, I find that this has a very natural finish. Even when I do have a little bit more skincare on, I can get a little bit more natural of a finish, so it's not too glowy, not too matte. It never feels too tightening on my skin either, which I would say the Elta MD physical sunscreen, which I have in the other video, can feel a little bit more matte and sometimes drying throughout the day. So this one does not feel like that at all. And then also the tint is pretty spectacular. I do right now, my body is quite tan, and I also put self-tanner on my face. So that tan that you see is not really from the sunscreen, it's from my self-tan. But the sunscreen kind of just, basically it cancels out the zinc oxide of the ingredients and just gives you what your skin was looking like before. Now, I'm not saying that the tint is going to work for all skin tones, but for me, like a light neutral medium shade, it does work for me. But the tan you are seeing on my face, again, is not from the sunscreen, that's from my self-tan that I put on. And the last thing I wanted to say about this one is that the texture is divine. It's a very, very silky, kind of smooth texture while still being a cream. And I find that especially with a mineral sunscreen, that's not always the case. You tend to either get a heavier kind of chalky feeling where like it does kind of blend in, but it takes a little bit more. This one feels more like you're rubbing in a fluid sunscreen where it's like more liquidy, but it's obviously, it's not fluid. Like it's got a pump and it comes out like a cream. So the texture is just absolutely one of the best that I've felt. And it's very easy to blend in. It feels more like, I would say, like a hybrid or chemical sunscreen, but it is mineral. Now, unfortunately, it's discontinued. So that said, you can find it a few places. I found it online at different websites, just not sold through Elta MD. So do be careful, especially if you're gonna go on Amazon, always triple check. And I just don't even buy them on Amazon anymore. So if you are looking for it, you can probably find it. It's probably going to be overpriced, but it is still out there for a little bit. So they replaced the original Elta MD Elements with the Elta MD UV AOX Elements. This one retails for $45, so I think it's about the same price, approximately, but it has SPF 50. And they both are the same size, which is 1.7 fluid ounces, very standard amount, 50 milliliters. But unfortunately, the new AOX Elements is a hybrid sunscreen, and they are not going to tell you that, and you're not going to see it unless you know to look for it. It does have butyl-lactose salicylate. Butyl-lactose salicylate, I talk about it quite often. It's pretty well known, I feel like, in the little sunscreen community, but it is It's not considered an active sunscreen filter, but it works the same way, so they don't have to count it. They can just put it in the ingredient list, but it works like a chemical filter. So therefore, it is a hybrid sunscreen. It's got mineral filters and your chemical filter, butyl salicylate. In terms of the filters, there is 13.5% zinc oxide and 4.4 titanium dioxide. So it's increased a little bit, which is not surprising because the last one, the older version, had 10% zinc oxide. So they have increased the zinc oxide in the newer one to get you to that SPF 50. They are both water resistant for 40 minutes, which I would say is kind of unique in terms of mineral or physical sunscreens. I just don't find as many to be waterproof or water resistant. So that's a really good and exciting thing, especially like if you're out in the summertime, maybe not at the pool. I probably wouldn't wear these at the pool, but like if you're just like walking about and it's super hot and you're sweating, don't feel too worried if you're wearing them. As far as the tint is quite similar. I'm sorry, it's on this side. The tint is quite similar to the other one. Sometimes I feel like it goes on a little bit lighter, but when I look at my face, this is it. You can't tell the difference. Like nobody's gonna be like, her right side or her left side or darker or lighter, whatever. You're not gonna see a difference. So that's how I'm able to get away with it. And I wore this all day today. I'm wearing it like at work and during my day, so it's not very noticeable. And also the finish is very similar. It's a natural kind of, I wouldn't even call it radiant. I would just call it natural. Depending on your skin type, you could be a little bit more dry or a little bit more oily if you do have those types of skin. I have very normal skin, sometimes oily in the combo zone or in the T-zone. So I'm gonna get pretty much that. But today, when I apply sunscreens for reviews like this, I apply it on a bare face, no skincare at all, and I get a pretty perfect finish in my opinion. I do want to call out that they do have a little bit more antioxidants in the new formula, which is not surprising. It's called AOX. So you have vitamin E, vitamin C, and the vitamin C is a vitamin C ester, ascorbyl palmitate. So nothing too crazy. I don't really go to sunscreens for my skincare, but it's a little bit extra. You also have hyaluronic acid. I just think that they're doing that because typically mineral or physical sunscreens can be a little drying. So they're trying to counteract that. So nothing too crazy. Don't get overly hyped by it because honestly, if that's your only vitamin C, you should probably be putting a little bit more on. Just my opinion. Okay, so now that we have talked about the old and the new, what are my final thoughts? So it was very interesting. I went and reviewed the old one with my whole Elta MD sunscreen video. And I had read online on, where is it, Reddit, that's where I go for a lot of commentary, that people were just so upset by the reformulation. They were very upset, like it wasn't the same. And now I get it, if you really need 100% mineral sunscreen, you're maybe allergic to butyl salicylate, whatever, you just don't like it. I get that because they changed something that was like one of their few truly mineral sunscreens to be a hybrid sunscreen. But other than that, I thought like people were also saying like how thick it was and how they weren't gonna like it and like they missed the old one. Totally understand. It's just hard to deal with change. But I'm going to be completely honest and say I don't hate it. I thought I was. I really did. I ordered it, overnighted it, got it really quickly, and it's not that bad. I mean, first of all, I don't think it looks any different. And I'm also wearing it, it's hot, it's humid here, it's sticky. I don't turn the AC up super high. So when it's very thick and I can feel it on my face, I immediately want to wash my face. And I don't feel like that today. I'm not too mad at it. And I also do like that they increased the SPF to 50. I like that they kept it water resistant for 40 minutes. These are things that I do look for in general. And I also like that the tint doesn't pull too warm. Now what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to keep wearing it. When I might have put a little too much self-tanner on my face. It does match my body, so it's fine. But I like look at my face because I'm not used to seeing it so tan and I'm like, oh. So I'm gonna continue to wear it when I don't have self-tanner on. And I think the tint is gonna still be fine because I don't feel like it's one of those ones that gives you a lot of coverage and it doesn't give you a lot of color. So there's so many tinted sunscreens out there, especially mineral ones, where it just feels heavy and it feels like you've got foundation on. And I don't want that. I want something that basically just covers out the white cast, but doesn't give me any coverage and it really doesn't give me a lot of color. And I do think that this is pretty close to that. The other one though that I would kind of, you know, if you're on the fence about spending $45, which is fair, the other one that I feel like is very, very similar to this, because it is also hybrid, is the Dermatology Matte Universal Sunscreen. For me, this does not really work as a matte sunscreen, and they, to me, kind of sit the same on my face. So this one is, I think, half the price, so it's a good option. And if you haven't seen the video, I will link it above for you to watch. So, overall, do I think Reddit was maybe like a little dramatic about it? Yeah. But I also do understand the people that really just want a mineral sunscreen. So I feel for you, and I think this was a lovely, lovely sunscreen. And really, they should have just taken the base of it, and I don't know why they changed it. What was the reason? Maybe they just wanted a higher SPF. But like, I don't think you need the extra 6. Like, I think this was pretty close to perfection, and it is my favorite Elta MD sunscreen. So I wish they would have just taken that and like changed it slightly, but like they clearly, you know, it's a marketing thing. But I get it. I get wanting to reformulate it. I get wanting to like build a little bit more hype for a new product, refresh your catalog, that kind of thing. So it's not the worst thing, and I really was expecting so much worse. So that's it for this one. This is the Elta MD Elements sunscreen, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please, of course, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Give it a like. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.